Good afternoon, ladies. How are you? Well, they're getting big now. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick update on what's going on here. We've added a second waterer that you fill via the hose there. You can see coming out right over there. And they're doing good. But that means that today we have to address the other waterer, which has been working good, but there's something I don't like about it, so I'm going to take a second and show you guys what's going on here. So this water has been working great. One of the things I don't like about it is there's no nuts securing the cups on, and one of them is just loose because it's threaded into the thickness of the side of the bucket, and that's not enough threads, and they're both plastic, and anyway, they're kind of loose and willy-nilly, and I don't like it. So I can't, well, I'm sure I could, but I don't know exactly what pitch. Where did I put that cup? Oh, here it is. Sorry, crazy cameras. I don't know exactly what pitch these threads are. You can see I threw some Teflon tape on them, but they're very close to a M10 by 1. So what I did was I went and bought some nylon nuts, the 3/8 variety, coarse thread, 3/16 on the thread pitch, and I'm tapping them out with an M10 by 1. And I already did the other waterer. I did it when it was brand new, and it's working out great. And so that's what we're doing. I'm just using a socket to hold it. I got a nut. It's nylon, so I'm not too worried about it. And what it does, it makes them just tight enough that they're secure in there. Plus, I am going to add an O-ring on the back of here just to help seal it a little bit better, because one of these cups is leaking. I can tell because the bedding underneath it is always a little bit wet. But it's not leaking enough that I can even see it drip, so it's a very slow leak. So I'm just tapping them out, getting them to a closer thread pitch, and putting them on. And then at the same time, I'm going to add a hose onto that one to make it easier to fill, so that you don't have to lift the cone that I put on there to keep the chickens from sitting on it, and just make the whole topping up the water process easier. And then also when I throw it back in there, I'll show you guys my feeder that I've been running, and I couldn't be happier with this setup. It's working just so good. So good. I got it down to about once a week where I have to go in there and fill everything up, and that's about perfect, because then I can schedule it, right? If every Sunday I fill it up, then that's ideal. It's having to check it during the week and then forgetting to check it, and all things I know I should do better at, but I'm just being real with you. I forget to check it during the week. I'm too busy at work. I wonder if the smart money should put the O-ring on the inside. It almost makes more sense to me. Biggest thing I like about these waterers is I can hang them, and they can't poop in them, and they can't tip them over. And it holds almost a week's worth of water. I'm going to put this O-ring on the inside. See what happens. Oh, I see. They spun that one out a bunch. I know it, like, because they'll flip them. They walk by them and they'll flip them upside down or sideways. They don't seem to leak, though, when that happens. But I don't like them loose like that. One of the reasons being if they knock them off and I don't notice, so they knock them off in the evening or whatever and I don't notice, they could end up going a day or two without water. If everything works out in a way that I forget to check and it happens at the right time. Yeah, I think I like that O-ring on the inside better. Oh, it holds good. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, now to set up some kind of hose filling system. So all I'm going to do to hook this hose setup is, I got my lid here. I got 2 notches in my lid. Because it hangs from the handle, the handle goes in these notches and it secures the lid on there. And what I was doing was just forcing it up and just shoving the hose in. But you'd have to lift that green cone up, and the cone's on there because this hangs from a chain, to keep them from sitting on top of it. It really works because they don't sit on top of it at all since I put that cone on, which is great because it stops them from pooping all over it. All I'm going to do is drill a hole in the middle of this and shove that piece of hose in there, and drill the hole a little small so it fits tight. And then I've just got an end off a hose that'll screw onto the end of my garden hose and just shove it in there and fill it up. And that's how that's going to work. So quick and easy. Whole goal here is for minimal to low, no maintenance. Doesn't matter. Damn. Good enough. Shove our hose in there. Hopefully it fits and I didn't go too small. Too small. Maybe just a bit too small. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Just snug. Snug is perfect. Okay. These are the hooks and it hangs from. There, and there, cone, and then my chain comes down through here and hooks on those 2 hooks, and this will just hang and I'll tuck it out of the way somewhere, and away we go. Minty. And this will really help make it a lot easier to fill. And then all I do to fill them is I grab my fitting and I just shove it in the end of the hose. Put it in the end of the fanciest garden hose known to man that my lovely lady found and purchased on a whim. Not a whim, but she was looking for a garden hose, but she thought, you know, I'll try this metal one. It gets good reviews. And I'll tell you what, it's got this little valve at the bottom. It's made out of some kind of sorcery that it doesn't seem to kink. And I've fallen in love with it. This might be the best garden hose I've ever purchased. Now, I could imagine a few ways it could die. I certainly do not drive over it with vehicles. Just, that's a rule we made. There's no driving over it with the car. I don't want it to die. Anyway, then I grab my hose. Let's see how I can do this with one hand. And then I just shove. Guy really should have brought his tripod out here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. So if I somehow use my knee, and go like that. The old chin tripod. There we go. Oh, you dropped. Alright, as I was saying before I dropped you there, put this little fitting on my hose, shove it into there, open the valve on this wonderful hose. Best garden hose known to man, I think. We'll see. It's only on its first season. This might be one of those things. I don't think a guy could fix this hose if he wrecks it. I'll tell you that. But if you can figure out how to take care of it, I can't see why it wouldn't last a really long time. And then all I do is just fill her up. She's filling up right now. The one on the underneath, I drilled a hole in the side of the bucket and it squirts out when it's full towards the user. That way you know it's full. For the wintertime, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably drop a heater in here. And likely what I'll do is drop some kind of funnel on the bucket or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I haven't thought that far down the road. Family member, he heats his cups with just some heat trays and says it works wonderful. Just one loop around the cup's all you need. Some days you can see how full the bucket is. Today is not one of those days. Oh, the lady's gonna love this. This will make it so much easier for her. Oh, there's full. Alright, we'll try to avoid that. Bit of a wet mess. I think what I want to do is put a sight gauge on the side so that one can accurately fill this without overfilling it. Although, one could also siphon it down a little bit. And there you have it. And that's my feeder. It's just 90-degree elbows in a pail pointed down at the bottom, about 1.5 inches. There's lots of videos on them. Not my idea, but boy does it work great. There's like zero waste.